So, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the other side of rock bottom, where we shine a light of hope, healing, and power of transformation after addiction and mental health struggles. I'm your host, Kathy, and I'm honored to be with you here tonight. Tonight, I am talking with a woman who has inspired me deeply. Her story is one of resilience, redemption, and learning to live life on life's terms. Please welcome Miss Angela.
Hi, thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Angela. Welcome and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So let's start talking about life of before recovery. What did life
Okay.
look like before rock bottom?
Well, okay, I'll give you a brief background. Um, when I was 5, my parents divorced and I took that very difficult. And when I was about, oh, 13, I went to Oklahoma State's custody and I remained in that until I was 18. And so I had a lot of institution and not a lot of common sense. And so when I got out, I kind of, went hog wild and I found myself into methamphetamine. And so I had hooked up with a guy that I ended up marrying, and we were married for 26 years and we had 2 children. And he passed away in 2018. He had complications with his kidneys and was on dialysis for 16 years. 4 times a day, he would do an exchange. And that's what they were called, exchanges. And, so we were just, I don't know how we tolerated each other for 26 minutes at times. Uh, it was a very turbulent marriage. There was a lot of mistrust. There was drug use in and out of those years. And I'm just kind of looking at my notes so I don't get too off track because I tend to do that. So from there, his death rocked my world, and my drug use picked up, and it went uh, completely wild on me. I was doing the things that I wouldn't have ever done, and I fell right into the gap of needing the drug and not having the money for it. And so I did everything that an addict does to get their next fix. And so in 2019, my grandson drowned in my neighbor's pool. And he was only 5 years old. And um, my daughter and I already had a strained relationship. This only strained it worse.
Right.
My son was into using, and so dad's gone and kids and I are out of control is what it is. And I had promised Steve before he died, I said, look, I'm going to get a handle on this one way or another. Don't think that I'm going to forsake my kids if God doesn't. So I said I wouldn't get emotional, but what I did is I just found myself going to NA and kind of blaming my daughter for her drug abuse and addictions. And, I was there to support her
Right.
instead of admitting my own drug use. And that's how I started. And she called me out on, several occasions. And it was so, it was just like her and her dad, and I just so turbulent. And I was desperate to fix it, but I didn't know how. And so I went to Monarch and Muskogee, and I only stayed 5 days. I booked it out of there. I wasn't court ordered or anything, so I really didn't feel obligated. So I got out of there. I came home and I relapsed. Couldn't believe it. You know, uh, I think I missed the whole part where my son was murdered. after my daughter's son drowned. My son was murdered in our own home. Uh, Over a pound of weed. He was shot over 13 times. And so that's what led me. That was my rock bottom. That's what led me to go and start getting help, to reclaim my life and just, you know, um, be there for the trial. So that I made sure they went to jail for what they did was
Right.
the initial reason for being clean. It wasn't because I wanted to be, that's for sure. It was because I had this trial that went on for 2 years, and I wanted to make sure I was there and present. And the first 2 years uh, of working a program was the trial. Um, so from there, just gonna skip over to uh, I want to really stick to what I did after I got out of rehab the second time I went to the Valent House. And I was able to stay there 15 days.
Okay.
And so when I came home, I felt like I needed to be home for Christmas. I don't know why. I had nothing to really come home to. My daughter was pregnant, getting ready to have a kid. And I didn't realize how beat down I was. I mean, I just didn't realize that in rehab I felt really confident. I had wrote myself a forgiveness letter.
Right. I
I
wanna I wanna stop you there for a second and back up just a minute though. I
Sure.
wanna know what made you finally take that first step and reach out for help.
Well, I had Grand Lake Mental Health that was coming over to my house and checking on me. I had a life coach that just came over a couple times a week and touched base with me and was nosy enough and had enough of an addict personality himself that knew what to ask me and knew how to break in, break the
Right.
wall
Okay.
down.
Isn't it amazing how even the
So
smallest spark, a person, a prayer, a moment of
they were
pain.
about to close my case, and he said, "Who is this?" I was 49 years old. They were about to close my case because I never could show up on time to my appointments. I was not on any medication to manage. I had no idea how to quit using.
Right.
I knew that I wanted to, and I had all these tools from being institutionalized most of my life, but I couldn't put them together because I'd been using so long,
Right.
and
Right.
I could
They
barely
were there
talk.
to help you put those tools together.
They did. They are the ones that, really provided even a ride to rehab. And they didn't provide one home, but they provided one there.
Now, who is this
And
organization again so we can give them a shout
this was
out?
yes, this was Grand Lake Mental Health, and
Okay.
and my life coach was named Sloan. And then I had a case manager and a therapist, and they were uh, wondering if they were ever going to break through. I just, I don't know. Once I lost my son, they kept me busy 3 times a week coming into their office. So I didn't have time to get high, is really what they said. They said, if you got to come in 5 days a week, come
Right.
in. So you're not tempted to use. I
That's
mean,
right.
they were willing to do anything, and so I was
Okay.
willing to have a relapse prevention plan. I was willing to go to NA, and I got a sponsor, and just slowly was working the first 3 steps, which is I can't, you can, and I'll let you.
Right.
And
Okay. So let me stop you there for a second because, again, I don't want to get too far ahead for everybody. So, recovery isn't about just stopping the drugs or drinking, it's about
that's right.
learning how to live life again. What
Yes.
did early recovery look like for you? What were some of the
Um,
hardest things you had to face?
it was difficult to surrender to these murderers, to think about praying and forgiving for them, that their redemption was possible. I didn't realize that I just didn't like anybody, not especially people that had sons to tell them they had loved them, or that if they were busy. And, I'm with my son right now. That just tormented me. In fact, that's how I got kicked out of rehab. I told the case manager that when you have a son, I hope he dies. And so I couldn't stay if I wanted to. They were, you're out of here. And I'm like, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. And they were like, you're out of here. And I'm like, you piece of crap. They said, you'll relapse within 3 days with your mindset. And that never left my mind. I didn't know what they even meant by that until probably working the steps when I got to step 5.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So how
yeah,
did you begin to heal emotionally, spiritually, and physically?
well, I go to church now and I have a sponsor. I work the steps. I go to meetings. I keep my life balanced. I really use a lot of emotional regulation. I control my thoughts now so I can control my behavior. And I'm grateful. My sponsor says that grateful people do not use, they do not relapse. And I remain grateful. And
So what
I
kind of support do you lean on?
well,
Therapy.
I have not been able to, uh, uh, make amends with my family, my immediate family. My husband's gone, my son's gone, my daughter and I have still a very strained relationship. I have a new grandson. I feel very much like Job in the Bible. I tell you, it was taken in a blink of an eye. My whole family, um, uh, in death, taken, and it was so final. And yet I wasn't in reality of that. I was like, they're just out hunting, fishing. They're doing something. They'll be back. In my mind, I just kept telling myself, if they're not coming back, I'll go to them. And so, what kind of thinking was that landing me in to think that every day? What kind of person was I to be around having that aura, that energy about me? And so,
Right.
I just started shifting out of that really by asking artificial intelligence, asking Chat GPT, how do I jump out of this? And I relied on Chat GPT so much, and it felt genuine and authentic, as if I reading the literature, keeping up with the uh, uh, being connected.
Okay.
uh, those are the things that help keep me balanced, and you know uh, staying physically in tune is just as important as emotional, mental, and
Yes.
spiritual.
Yes.
um So working out is bleh. I hate doing it, but today I can, walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes when I couldn't even walk 2 minutes when I began,
Okay.
you know. Um, and gosh, that makes me feel good. I do things that make me feel good and I don't feel guilty about it because my son's passed or my grandson's passed. I can't change it. I still feel tremendous fault, but working the steps and working the tools that I have, it's less and less every day.
Wow. That inner,
And
that inner work, that doing that hard work on us, and like you said, realizing they're not coming back, right?
yeah,
And so it's such a reminder that we do recover. And I want to do that. And I'm glad you're doing that today to remind those
thank
who
you.
are suffering in silence that there is hope, right?
Yeah,
There is hope.
yeah.
So let me ask you about your life today, right? What does it look
Well,
like now on the other side of rock bottom?
I am so happy. I've moved to Tulsa. I bought 13 acres in Okesa. I'm building a house with my boyfriend.
Nice.
Um, like I said, I feel very much like Job. Um, God has restored, refocused, revived. I'm wearing my my Recover Girls t-shirt. I can't not thank them enough for having their lives every day. I know we're stronger together, and I look forward to that. Laura and I went to a retreat in Bandera, Texas. It was amazing. It was definitely, life-changing. These women are life-changing for me, and
What
they,
is it about their support that is so beneficial to you?
well, because without people like Jamie and Laura and you, I would forget where I come from, and I would get stuck in my own head and my own feelings, being the addict that I am, and I would be using at 53 years old, and my health would be paying for it if I'd even be alive to pay for it.
Right.
So my daughter very much needs me, and my grandson, I'm needed, I'm loved. I have, I am 3 years and 8 months clean, and I still have not made amends with my biological family.
Yeah.
And it hurts. I mean, I've been there on Mother's Days, I've been there on their birthdays, but they don't want me there. And it
Yeah.
hurts. It's like, what? What? Uh, it hurts.
I'm
It's
sure.
rejection is one of those that is the biggest pity party,
Yeah.
and it's really God's protection. It's, God's protection from the people that don't need to be in your life at the given moment.
Right.
And who knows how much I'm cutting. I've got my blinders on. I've learned so much. Take the blinders off. Let God be God. I can't do it, and He can. And the only way you can do that is through surrender and through your higher power, being able to meditate, which I couldn't do that for 2 minutes. And now
Right.
I'm doing 15 and 20 minutes, and starting to sleep like a baby. So,
So let
um,
me ask you this. What are you the most proud of today?
ah, gosh, that I love recovery.
Okay.
That I want to sponsor sponsees that want to sponsor, and I want to teach people that there's hope, and that if I can do it, anybody that wants it can have it. They can have what I want, and I'll gladly be an example to them. So
All right. Well, listen, kiddo, I am so happy you are here with me tonight. And guys, listen,
thank
if
you.
anybody is watching this tonight and think
Yeah,
that you can't make it, please know
yeah,
you can. You
yes, you
can.
can.
And Angela, you're such a beautiful example of what recovery can look like. Your story is
Thank
going to
you.
give someone out there the hope they desperately need.
I hope so.
Before we go,
You're
I
not
always
alone.
ask my guests the same question. Okay. So if tonight somebody's listening right now that feels broken, hopeless, or like it's too late, what would you want them to know?
As long as you got breath in your lungs, it's never too late. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Once too many and a thousand's never enough, and you don't have to ever use again over anything. And Narcotics Anonymous is what saved my life. Try it out.
There you
You
go.
won't be disappointed.
Angela, thank you so much for being here, honey, and sharing your heart and for showing us what recovery really means. And
Thank you.
listen, to all of you who are listening, no matter where you're at on your journey, there is another side to rock bottom. Please
Yeah,
keep going. You're not
yeah,
alone. Until next
absolutely.
time, I'm Kathy. Angela, thank you again, my friend. Stay strong, stay honest, and stay connected, guys. A
All right.
connection is the addiction is the opposite. No, connection is the opposite of addiction. I'll get it right in a minute. All right,
Thank
Angela. Thank you
you.
so much, dear.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.